Hey guys, Jacob here. This is going to be a video that's actually been requested for quite some time now, and that's going to be my TU12 skill build. Now, as you guys know, TU12 has been just released not too long ago, and actually hasn't out been really that long at all. But you guys will know that this is pretty much a skill build update. And what I mean by that is they, obviously gives the capacitor, the waveform, the new rig set, and also the new Empress International set. And I've been working on the build quite some time now to actually give you guys that I've been using to farm casual missions, PvE, stuff like heroics, legendaries, and also farming a little bit in Summit. First, if you guys are new, welcome to the channel. I upload daily Vision 2 content on stuff like build videos, vendor resets, and overall news on the game. To get right into it, the specialization I am currently using is going to be Technician. The reason why I'm using Technician is so you can have actually a yellow automatically or core attribute utility from using Technician, so you could have something like a red or a blue to give you a little more survivability or give yourself a little bit more damage. Now, the primary weapon I'm using is going to be the Capacitor. This is the new exotic AR that was added in TU12. To acquire this, you guys are going to go into Summit and complete 5 challenges, and you guys will be rewarded it pretty much right away. If your inventory is full, last time I checked, it will be deposited in your stash. Now, the total damage on this is 95.7k, 700 RPM with 41 rounds in the magazine. And it is on the low end side for magazine. I know some of you guys are wanting a 50 round mag, kind of like something like the Chameleon, or a 60 like the Eagle Bear, but this is only 41 rounds. It was 30, so at least they buffed it up to 40. I think it was that in the PTS it used to be 30, which was barely any ammunition. Now, the talent on this is the Capacitance, which is probably one of my favorite talents in the game, and this is a skill build's dream. Shooting enemies builds a stack of cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5 skill damage. After 5 seconds, stacks decay 1 per second. For each core attribute, which is skill tier core attribute, gains 7.5% weapon damage, which, I gotta say, this gun is awesome if you guys are using a skill build. Now, for the attachments, this actually has some of the best attachments on the gun in a game. Now, it does have low ammunition and low RPM, but the attachments on this are pretty awesome. It has the conductive focal scope, which you can zoom in because it's an ACOG just like the Bighorn and has 10% critical hit chance. For the magazine, you have 11 rounds plus 11, so you get 41. 10% weapon healing on the grip, and for the muzzle, which is the discharge electro muzzle, has 30% critical hit damage. That's more than the EB has, which is the Eagle Bear, if you guys are not aware of that. The Eagle Bear only has 15% critical hit damage, so this is like the highest critical hit muzzle on any gun in the game you can acquire, and this gun is very easy to get. You don't have to do a raid to get it. You just got to go to Summit, complete 5 little challenges, and can be on any difficulty, and boom, you have this gun and you are ready to go. Now, for the secondary, essentially, you can use whatever you want. I'm using the Harmony to use in sync, which is perfect in sync, and this is pretty much to have just a little bit more range on targets who are a little bit further away. The total damage on this is 146.8k, 315 RPM with 50 rounds in the magazine. I have max rifle damage, 11% critical hit damage, and 5% rate of fire. I am using perfect in sync on this, which this is a perfect gun called the Harmony. And hitting enemies grant 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a skill or damaging enemy with a skill grants 20% weapon damage for 5 seconds, and damage increases when both are doubled, while both buffs are active at the same time. The attachments on this are the C79 for critical hit chance, the laser pointer for critical hit chance, the 20% stability Omega rifle suppressor for 7.62 that is, and the 7.62 extended magazine, which is plus 20 rounds. Now, you guys can use essentially whatever you want. If you want to use a shotgun, another AR, an SMG, a sniper rifle, you guys can use whatever you like, but this is what I'm currently using. Now, for the sidearm, I rarely use this thing, but I use it mostly due to the fact I think it's one of the best pistols in the game, and it hits pretty hard. It actually hits harder than the 1911, which is pretty awesome, and holds about the same amount of rounds as the 1911 and the same RPM. And this has 4 attachment points instead of 1, so you can deck this thing out as much as you want. And I have Finisher on this, which is swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy, grants 30% critical hit chance and 30% critical damage for 15 seconds. So if you kill an enemy with this, like a red bar or something, and you shoot them, then you can swap back from this to your primary gun and get a little more crit out of your weapon. Now, for the pieces, this is the new Empress International set. You get skill haste, skill damage, and skill efficiency. The core attributes on this are all skill tier, skill haste, skill damage, and skill haste. Keep this in mind. You guys' pieces may be way better than mine. I don't have that many pieces that are pretty decent with this set. I only have a few. For the chest piece, I'm using Wyvern with skill haste, skill damage, skill duration, and glass cannon. and you get 1% or 10%, my bad, for the one piece, that's what I meant to say, for the 10% skill damage on Wyvern, and Glass Cannon, which is all damage you deal, is amplified by 25%, all damage you take is amplified by 50. Now, if it wasn't already known enough, you are going to be very squishy with barely any armor, and now that you have Glass Cannon, you're going to be even more squishy, and you got to play this build in cover, and try not to stay on the open so you don't get shredded. That's why you can change out one of these yellows, because I'm using Technician, for a blue or red if you want more damage, or a little bit more armor on this build. Now for the backpack, I'm using the Force Multiplier, which has skill haste, skill damage, and skill duration, and one skill tier, and you get 10% skill haste from the Hand You Corporation for the one piece. And you also have Perfect Combined Arms. Shooting an enemy increases total damage by 30% for 3 seconds, and you can constantly keep this procced by shooting the enemy over and over and over again until you run out of rounds, and it goes pretty much away unless you can reload that fast. Next is going to be the Empress International Gloves with skill damage status. Sadly, I do not have any other pair of gloves. This is the only pair of gloves I currently have that are actually pretty much decent. And status effect isn't something I really want. I'd rather have skill haste, but it is what it is. You guys know this game, RNG sometimes sucks ass. Now, on the knee pads, you have 7.3 skill damage and 12% skill haste. These were originally status, so I changed them to skill haste to get my skills back a little bit quicker. Now for the waveform. This is the new exotic holster that was added in the game. Generate a stack of 3% skill damage on one of your skills every second, capping at 10 stacks. After 10 seconds at the cap, the stacks transfer to your other skill, then the process then repeats. So it goes back and forth basically from your skills like this over and over. And for the skills, I'm using the Striker Drone, which is a tier 6. These are the mods I currently have on here. You have 120% striker damage, 420% health, 74,737 damage. Keep this in mind, it's going to depend on your rolls on your gear. PvP is 14,947, and the health is 3,312,804, and the cooldown is 4.2 seconds. Keep that in mind, I'm also in the firing range, so it can vary. Now for the assault turret, 120% damage, 420 health. These are the mods I currently have on here at the moment, and you're looking at 120,000 damage. With PvP is 30,000 damage with 6,625,000 HP with 3.9 second cooldown, and you have 265.0 second duration. Now I will show you guys exactly how this build works and how you can get some pretty insane damage with it. Now I am on challenging, keep this in mind because this is what most people either play on is challenging or heroic. And I'm going to go to named instead of invulnerable. Whoa. Veteran, elite, and then named. And you guys will see at the bottom of the screen, that's actually the waveform proccing. And this is on a target that hasn't been shot yet, even though it looks like it's been shot. Not sure why. I'm going to let it go over to the waveform. This is without anything procced. Just the gun or the turret alone shooting the target. And you guys can see it does some pretty decent damage to the target with DPS. Now, like I said, your damage may vary depending on what you're using. That's just with the turret with nothing else procced. I'm going to shoot the 5 meters right here. For some reason the target isn't loading properly, but you guys can see it enough. And you guys will see here on the damage last hit, this is with combined arms procced and all this stuff. I'm actually going to step away real quick and step back. But you also will see right here on the right, getting your stacks up go all the way up to 40. I'm actually going to kill this target real quick so you guys have somewhat of an idea. Shoot the 5-1, even though it looks like PlayStation 2 graphics. Not sure what's up with that. Now I'm going to pull out the turret again and shoot the target in combined arms, and you guys will see the damage last hit. And since you have 40 stack, now you can see how much damage it does to the targets, and you constantly can keep this going up with combined arms by shooting other NPCs. So if you're shooting an NPC, your turret can be hitting someone else. Like I'm going to throw the drone out as well. And I'm going to shoot a target here and let this go after this. You can see 260, 270. You can get up to 270 on last hits with your skills. Now, there's 280 last hit from hitting the target. That's just getting it up, so that way you can get more damage out of your skills. So you can get up to 280, potentially even higher than depending on what you have rolled on your gear. And also, on a side note, you can pick up your turret if you guys are not aware of that, so that way it'll stop shooting at targets if you want it to pretty much come back instantly. Now for the waveform, I'm going to let you guys see at the bottom here real quick. This is when it's on the turret, or the drone, my bad, and it'll stay there for a few seconds. Then it transfers back over to the turret, and you can throw it down and have it rip through NPCs as well. or if you want to use this somewhat in the dark zone, which I have not really tested. So if you guys are going to test this in the DZ, please let me know how it functions and how you guys like it. But I have not gone on there with a skill build because I usually tend to get one-shotted by people with DPS builds, and the only time I run on their skills is if I'm running a healer. Now we'll show you guys the stats real quick if you're curious. These are the talents, the crit chance and crit damage. This is with the Capacitor and with the Harmony. Put on the Capacitor real quick so you guys can see the damage with that as the primary. That's going to be the main gun you guys are probably going to be using. So you have 20% crit chance and 75% critical damage. You don't have a lot, but it's better than nothing. 12% damage to armor. Stability, weapon swap speed, weapon handling, all that stuff. Here's the gear talents and the gear brands if you guys are curious. The armor, the hazard, and here's the cooldown, the skill haste, and the health and duration and damage, the mods, and same goes for the turret. And also you're probably wondering, how the hell do I have 500% or 510% skill haste? That's due to the range. So if you push this button here and disable it, you guys can see exactly how long it takes for these to come back, which I will demonstrate real quick if you guys are curious. Break it, and boom, you can see the 12-second cooldown. And same goes for the drone. I'll break it real quick so you guys can see that as well, and that's 13 seconds. But overall, that's the build. I've been having a lot of fun with this. I will try to show you guys a clip real quick. It hasn't really been working that much, but this is, if you guys do see this, a boss with it earlier. If you guys just want to see the damage, this was on challenging when I was shooting Saint in Grand Washington Hotel. But that's pretty much the clip real quick. If you guys can see that, Elgato has been acting up recently. But thanks all for watching. Make sure you subscribe to content, and I'll catch you guys all later.